Welcome to episode 2, Jack Moose Pod, the 5th. We got the big game tomorrow.
Yeah.
Got the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm going with the old man, even though he's a Trump supporter. But Trump ain't the president no more, so I don't even care. I'm just messing with him because he's 43 and still doing it. Man.
Yeah, I'm not tied into the Trump supporter thing where
I only bring it up because it was just in the news a couple of days. Like, how come nobody ever said nothing to Tom about it? Because he don't never say nothing about it.
Like, here's my thing, right? I look at it this way. What's worse than being a Trump supporter is probably what R. Kelly did to them little girls.
I mean,
maybe not. Maybe I could. Be wrong.
No. I think you're right.
I could be wrong, but I still
you can support
so here's what
anybody, and it's better
saying.
than fucking what R. Kelly did.
Yeah, so I'm saying.
Yeah,
right.
R. Kelly did the worst shit.
But, like, I be sitting in the car and I might hear something like in my playlist that I still have. I had playlists from years ago. And R. Kelly pop up, and I'm like, oh, Step in the Name of Love.
That's muscle memory, right? That's just muscle memory, because these are songs you grew up and you love, and you didn't forget about it.
So what I'm able to do is, I feel like I'm not trying to be baited, like, right? Like, the media baits you. We all know that this man has views. First of all, you know how many niggas that I don't want to say idolize, but we big fans of? That behind scenes, oh my God, they on some next level wild bullshit, right?
Which is shit I don't usually pay attention to because it's not my business.
That's what I'm talking about.
But that's why I said, I was like, this dude, he supported who? Some dude that ain't the president no more.
I wasn't going for him anyway, even if he didn't support
him. Yeah, so let's get to that. You not messing with the old man. You messing with the young man.
I'm a big fan of Patrick.
baby goat versus the goat.
Yo, I'm a big fan of Patrick Mahomes. Like, I got that feeling of Patrick Mahomes that I had when LeBron first came into the league. Like, I just watched LeBron. I had watched when I first saw LeBron. I'm not gonna jump subjects too much, but I watched LeBron when he played in his All-American game, and I don't even think it was that great of a game, but I could just tell this dude was gonna be something special, right?
Yeah.
And I've been a part of his fan club since, like, I haven't been a fan of a team since he got into the league. I just go where he go. That's the team that I rock with. You know what I'm saying? I used to be a Knicks fan. I'm still a Knicks fan at heart. Like, I still root for them. But going back to the Mahomes, like, I just think it's a time to pass the torch, and it's not gonna be passed after a championship.
I don't think no torch
for Brady.
The torch don't really get, well, forget the torch. I got $50, gentleman's bet, nice and easy, on the old white Trump supporter.
You got a 50, that's a fact.
You got the bet?
I'll take that on camera, absolutely.
Okay.
I'll take that on camera. I think this young man is deadly. I think that Tampa Bay has probably more.
They got a better defense.
They got a better team, but I think that when it's time to shine on explosiveness, as far as players that can explode and change the game, excuse me, I think that with the leadership of Mahomes, like, I'm not even this is how I look at the game. I look at the game as being Tom Brady up really fast, right?
Maybe. It's going to be a shootout either way.
I feel like it's going to be a 21-7 game fast. Tom Brady's way, right?
You don't want that.
I don't.
You don't want that.
I don't.
Because Brady going to hold on to that ball after that. He ain't going to make no mistakes.
I don't. However, I've seen this young man put a run together in 1 minute and 36 seconds, bro, to win a game. You know what I'm saying? This dude is special, and he has the talent. I think Tyreek Hill.
Just remember the last time this young man lost in the playoffs was against that old man in the AFC Championship game. But another question on sports, not to get too bogged down in the Super Bowl. We made our bet.
All right.
We got the Patriots here. We got the Chiefs here.
All right.
Should the NBA be going to Atlanta for the All-Star game? Do you agree with that decision?
I don't agree with that decision for many things, but more importantly, it's like when you look at the presidency, right? How many times do you see Trump with Mike Pence, right? Or how many times did you see
You make a great. I see where you're
Biden.
going. You make a great fucking point.
Biden with? You don't put all your
Everybody
stars in one place in the middle of this shit. Around
in Atlanta,
Atlanta
of all
around
places.
Other fucking people, right? And then at the same time, they're playing a condensed schedule. Like, this is the opportunity where they're like, all right, skip the All-Star. We're already playing damn near a game a day.
They already made a. First of all, we already know that a lot of dudes was like, yo, how we starting the season this early? But they made a deal. It's like, all right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. It was like, we're not going to have an All-Star game. You guys got 5 days off to relax and chill and get back to it.
Here's the flip side to it.
And now they're like, you got to play the All-Star game.
Here's the flip side for it for me, right? And I'm not saying that make any excuses for the rich, right? But these players also demand some of the largest contracts in sports history.
I don't think they demand them. I don't think they get. If you do all the numbers like an actuary, they probably don't get paid enough. I mean, with no fans been in the building, the numbers are a little different. But
first of all, I could be wrong. If they're not number one, they got to be number two, highest paid players of any sport in the world.
The
right?
top. I mean, in baseball, the top guys get the money. In basketball, everybody get paid.
Everybody get paid.
Everybody
get paid big bread though. They still getting 30, 40 million a year.
What's the guy that played for Utah? They traded from Memphis.
For Utah, that traded.
He was with Memphis. The point guard,
Michael Conley.
He got $150 million contract. I was like, wow. So you're right about that.
So what I'm saying, oh my bad, Ice. So what I'm saying is, what these people may be losing in revenue, we gotta figure out ways. Like, this is on prediction. Everything that we do is still on prediction and probability and statistics, right? As far as how we look at the future, how we look at the next in business, how we look at the next 5-10 years, right? So for a pandemic, even if it was a fucking earthquake, even if it was something like 9/11, 9/11 didn't affect.
Oh, but you can't compare the two, because 9/11, while it was a terrible tragedy, was like, all right, this happened. We know the damage. Let's fix it. The pandemic is like, the numbers are still rolling.
What do you mean the numbers are still? Oh yeah, the numbers for people dying.
That's what I'm saying. 9/11 happened on a day, and it was a tragedy.
Which is what I'm
the
saying
pandemic is just ongoing for over a year now.
Which is what I'm saying is, how are these people gonna be able to pay these players these type of dollars when no fans, no nothing? They have to go somewhere. I mean, I'm not agreeing. I'm playing devil's advocate.
No, I hear what you're saying.
They have to go somewhere to generate revenue with actual people.
But that's a new problem they're gonna have to deal with. Most of these big contracts were signed pre-pandemic, but the vast majority of them, the way the NBA is set up now, can't last more than, I would guess, 2 or 3 more years, and probably not even that long without fans and seats. Exactly. Not 25% full, not 50% full, like 100%. To the capacity, or no sport can live without.
But I think the rebound. I think, you know what? I think we're gonna talk about this in a couple of weeks with my boy Suave, because he has a really interesting perspective on the vaccine. But I think that's.
What's your perspective on the vaccine?
So my perspective on the vaccine is that it's definitely, the purpose of it is to help people. I don't think that there is some conspiracy to hurt anyone, to do anything, to hurt any like specific, race or anything like that, right? But my reservation comes from the speed of it, right? The speed of the production of it.
Yeah.
And most
It's a valid
things
concern.
most things most vaccines, and I know this is unprecedented. It's not unprecedented times, but for our generation, our last last two generations possibly, is unprecedented times.
Well, for a pandemic, a lot more generations go back even further. If you're just talking about a pandemic,
as far as a pandemic,
right.
yes. All right, so yeah, maybe further than two
back,
generations, right?
Yeah.
But having the ability to create this vaccine and it being approved, all right, I'm with that. But let me see some. Who took it?
I feel like I told you, I have to just be on a wait and see thing with this, because I definitely don't believe if they came up with some vaccine and they was just trying to let's get some guinea pigs for this. They're not really doing guinea pigs. They're just they're trying to give it to a whole swath of healthcare, give it to these healthcare workers, give it to the elderly. They're not giving it to just African Americans, just this or that. Because a lot of people go back in the history of this country, like the Tuskegee experiments, and they giving niggas syphilis and shit like that.
Right.
So especially us minorities, us black folks, we have reason to be skeptic.
It's super fair for us to be, and not to even discredit or take anything. Us as a culture are just skeptical about everything. For all the things that's been done to us.
And not because of some ghost stories, documented factual incident after incident after incident, using us as guinea pigs, and I could go on and on. You know what I mean?
Right. So in that instance, it's almost like the flu shot, right? First of all, let me be very clear, because people get so misconstrued with the flu shot and COVID-19. I know for sure there are two different things. Those are two different things.
Yeah, but here's the question though.
But the question of the flu shot.
Wait a minute.
What?
I don't know. I haven't heard about nobody catching the flu lately. Is everything just COVID? You can't catch a cold no more. You can't catch the flu. If you sick, you got COVID. That's the diagnosis, it seems. I mean, I know that's not totally true.
Not totally true, but I get what's being told out there.
Even personally, I don't even hear nobody yo, I don't feel good, I think I got the flu or something. When the last time you heard somebody say, yo, I think I might got the flu or something? Or maybe they're just I ain't gonna tell nobody nothing, no. Because if you got...
Yo, it's crazy, because I sent an email the other day to my colleagues, and I was like, yo, I'm not feeling well. I'm going to take a day off to rest up so I can be 100% tomorrow.
That's a hell of that's a scary email to send nowadays.
Right. And that email came back get well soon. I'm praying it's not COVID. Nigga, I could have a stomach ache.
But maybe that's why I'm not hearing personal stories of people having the flu and colds no more. They're just I'm just going to quarantine and keep it quiet.
I mean, I think that this is going to affect us for many years. I mean, many years, bro. People were talking about 3 to 5 years we'll be back to normal. People will be wearing masks. I think maybe a couple of decades.
Well, you got a new president trying to give out all kind of money, give us a punch in the arm economically.
I have my reservations of the man that I voted for, right? He was the better of the lesser evils, right? And I feel that he has made some what's being reported. He's made some pretty good strides. What I don't understand is And let me be very clear. I'm very respectful of the transgender community. And I also think that maybe it should have been a part of a package deal. But they did report something about him signing a new bill in benefit of the transgender community, right?
I think what you're talking about is that he rescinded Trump's ban on transgender people being in the military. That's what he did.
Was it a military thing? Because I don't remember the military being a part of.
No, that's definitely what it was.
Okay.
During Trump's term, he banned transgender people from being in the military, and Biden recently rescinded that order. So
here's
wait a minute. Before we get into this, this is a touchy topic. Go ahead.
Yeah. So the reason why I have a problem with it is because
with him rescinding.
No, not with the action.
What do you have a problem with?
I have a problem with it being one of the first things he did. Right? I feel that based on everything that was going on in this community, which transgender, issues were a part of that as well. But it was so much racial inequality, social injustice, so many things that really sparked and really gave him a platform to have the supporters he had. And one of the things that he didn't focus on was social injustice or police brutality. These are things that were really, really people were, I'm not saying transgenders were dying too, right? Right. But like you said, it was a military.
So your issue is not with what he did. You just have an issue with the timing of the things.
I thought the first thing, you know how when they come in and they say the first thing I'm doing is doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing that. That definitely wasn't a part of his first thing I'm doing.
But to be fair, maybe we give him a little bit more time? I only think it's been a few. It's only been like a few weeks.
I think the fact that he got Kamala in his, I don't want to even give her too much credit, right? But I also think that she is going to definitely add some leverage to our community as far as how she can affect us in a positive way as opposed to how the last administration did.
Well, I mean, I don't think that's very difficult to do.
As far as what?
To be a positive influence on anything. Besides,
what's difficult to do, one is to please the masses, right?
You definitely don't. The only possible thing you can ever do in this country is if you're one of the best leaders ever is get 55% of the country to believe in your shit. That's why it's one of the most difficult jobs in the world, because no matter what you say, half of the people are going to disagree with you, no matter what. That's just how this politics in this country is set up.
Here's how I also look at it, right? There's a lot of times where I vote for. You look at what the juice. You look at a lot of these candidates and these people who were in presidential positions, and you say, what was the impact that they had on my community, right? Because you never feel, it's a lot of times you never feel the impact that high up on what it did for my community, right? So that's where I look, when I look into a candidate, is how far can he reach into my community? And what I'm realizing is it's almost impossible for the president to reach into your community.
That's what I'm saying.
It's almost impossible. It's almost
unless he says, you know what, I don't care what everybody's gonna say and do.
All people get this, or all people get that. But it starts with the local leaders, right? And I think that even for myself, I have to get more educated in who these local leaders are, what they stand for, what their direction for the communities are, because that's what's really going to affect.
This is where the change happens, because like we were saying, the president is too big of an entity, and he got too much going on to help you and me on a micro level.
Right. I mean, I think the help is still there because you think about it this way.
The
Right?
hurt. Wait, I'm sorry. I feel like the hurt is not there. Like we don't have people in power that's literally have like passing policies and doing things that is literally hurting us, or like we're protesting and trying to stand up against social injustice, police brutality, and normally we have a president that's like on our side or that's neutral. We never have a president that's against social justice. You know what I'm saying? That's a little different.
That was definitely different for us experiencing Donald Trump, and I think that it's just the beginning. I think that his power is only going to get stronger. Um, I think that we also have to understand the power of media, right? We only see it if it's being reported, or unless we're right in front of it, right? So it's all about what they're reporting, and no, don't forget that, right? Like, don't forget that just because they're not reporting it, it's not happening.
Right.
Because
They're a business too, the news.
yeah, so they're gonna report what
They have
makes them-
agendas.
Yeah, they have agendas, right? So you want to remember that just because Biden's in office, yes, the insurrection or the attempted insurrection was very recent, but it's just the beginning. I think that this has definitely, based on what the consequences have been so far, I think this has definitely have fueled many of people who are on that side to get locked and loaded. So
I feel like a lot of them is just going back underground too, because
Yeah,
it's
just to
not
regroup.
cool. It's not cool to be openly far right, a far right person anymore, bordering on blatant racism. Like,
it's not cool to who.
it's not cool to do that mainstream anymore. A month ago, 2 months ago, a lot of like you could even see it in social media. Like you don't even see all the. I mean, I'm not on every site no more, but just on the Facebooks and Instagrams and stuff like Twitter, you don't see all the back and forth and nasty arguments as much as you did 2 months ago.
Yeah, because like you said, they went underground, right? But as soon as they pop back up, that's going to be the biggest story on that. That it is cool. I think it. Not that it's cool. I think you used the wrong word, but I think it's not a headline to do it right now. I'm sorry, not even to say it's not headlining. It's 100% headlining to do exactly what that is, right? Because the norm is the Joe Biden way right now to come together and to do things as a whole and to try to understand each other and settle our differences and stuff like that.
Here's my problem, man. This country and the amount of resources and shit that we got in this country, we should just be putting more money to like looking for aliens and fucking building up. Like, this country is mad. Just listen. This country's mad. Listen, we're in New Jersey right now, location, but we New York dudes, right? Like, New York is some old cruddy ass shit. The subway's old. Like, there's no infrastructure. Nobody building nothing up.
Right.
Like, this country is getting older and older, not newer and newer. Ain't nobody building anything. We need to, and we spending all our money and resources on wars that don't need to be fought, fighting and beefing with each other, racial strife.
What's important to be that might be entailed with what you're talking about is climate control, you know, and I'm very big on that. I think that we have.
I had no
really
clue
serious
that you were
problem.
big on climate control.
Absolutely, like I think we have a really big problem.
We have a big.
Fuels and the exploitation of this earth, pretty much, and how it's affecting us, and we like. I understand that going electric, right, and going solar is gonna hurt many businesses. It's gonna a lot of businesses is gonna tank, right? But
They won't
have
tank.
to figure out a
They
way
won't
to-
tank as bad as they will tank when the
Fucking
earth is unlivable.
It's burnt out, right?
Yeah.
And I think we have to understand. I don't even honestly, I don't even understand how there's an opposition. Like what?
Because
Where's
there's
there
money.
science where people? No. Hold on. Aside from the money part, right? Aside from the money part, if I'm speaking to this person, and that believes that there's no such thing as this climate shit, the earth is fine, and all this other shit. If I'm speaking like, what? How could you not see the scientific evidence?
Because that's not where the argument is at. The argument is not that the earth is going through a climate change and is kind of fucked up right now. The argument that people are having on the other side, the one side is like, listen, we human beings are doing too much. We got all of these oil refineries. We're pulling all this oil out of the ground. We're doing all this shit. We got a million cars everywhere. We're fucking up the earth. We gotta chill. The other side says, yeah, the earth is fucked up, but it's not. Humans is small potatoes with that. The earth is just going through a cycles that it's always going through. So keep the oil refineries going. Keep the money going. This is a regular cycle anyway. We're not causing this. This is just normal.
Right.
That's the other side.
Right.
That the earth is going through a bad climate cycle is not, by people of any intelligent level, that's not that science is not debated. It's just debating on who's causing it, or if the earth is just going through natural cycles.
So when you look at that, and I agree with all your perspectives of the parties that are at how they're looking at it, 100%. And just to add on to how they're looking at it is, at the same time that they're looking at it in a way where, the earth is going through its own metamorphosis or going through its own trials.
Yeah, it's going through a cycle that it's been through.
Its own cycle, right? Like I said to you earlier in the podcast, I'm a math man, and I'm sure these businessmen are math men, right? Even how they project the value of their business and shit like that. They go off statistics and
They hire the actuaries.
They hire actuaries, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at a situation where you're like, all right, look at the development of how many times we digged into the Earth's ocean, or how many times we digged into the ground, right? In 2017, and what the Earth looked like then, or what the climate, or what the percentages of whatever the statistics of how you look at the climate control were, and then 3 years later, then 6 years later, is it changing as we're adding more, or is it staying the same? All right, if it's staying the same, then I understand your argument that it doesn't look like that it's just doing what it does. But when it's changing,
I'm not the other side of the argument
No,
that we're not causing it.
Yeah.
Let me just put on the record. I think that's completely ridiculous, and to argue, if you have a consensus, when the scientific community comes to a consensus, you got to have a great argument to argue against that. You can't just say, no, I don't believe him.
Yeah, key word is consensus.
A consensus.
Yeah, key word.
That doesn't mean it's a 1,000% absolute fact. It means the best minds that we have on this planet agree to a 96% that this is what's happening. Right. So if you are that 4%, you better have some evidence.
Going with what you said about how they're saying that the Earth is going through its cycle, like this is another unprecedented scenario. This has never happened as far as humans being on this earth. But that's the issue. Right? The Earth is like 4.5 billion years old, and humans have only been on the Earth for like relatively 3 seconds. Compared to that, so everything that happened, right? We ain't been around here long enough. What I'm saying is, you got to go back to the math. Everything, bro, math is so important, bro. I don't know. It's the universal language. I don't know anything in this world. There is nothing that is operable without math. It's any language you speak, any culture you come from.
If you have one cup, and then I have another cup,
That's 2 cups.
in every possible language and dialect. That is the universal language. So go ahead.
So the math is in the math, right? And you don't have to be an expert to understand the math. There are animals in Antarctica, and I know that we're going a little bit off, but we're not really. But,
Nah, let's go. Let's go there.
There's animals in Antarctica, in these countries that are like, just like how the Amazon rainforest is very important to the oxygen that travels around our world.
Yeah, it produces lots of oxygen.
Lots of oxygen, right? And it's the same thing for like Antarctica. Like how Antarctica operates affects how this whole world can sustain itself, right?
Yeah.
Because if that shit melts,
It's a whole system.
it's over for everybody. It's probably gonna
The water,
bro,
the water
the
levels
water
just
level will
rise.
rise so high. Like I don't even know what would happen to this earth. So
Just be flooded. And the earth is, I mean, this earth, and there's plenty of, we've been through a giant flood. This shit been frozen before. This shit been hot before. Like the earth been through all of them cycles before.
The earth is indestructible but destructible, right? It's the most powerful thing within
We're
us,
not gonna,
right?
human beings will not kill the earth with the way, we could blow it up. We could blow some shit up with bombs and shit like that.
All we're gonna do is just change the dynamic of the earth. That's it.
The earth is gonna, we need us living things, us animals, fish and all that. We need oxygen and food and water to live.
Right.
The earth, the earth is just a
It's
rock.
gonna adapt. The bottom line, just like any other planet, there are, I don't want to say living things, but whatever is able to move, operate, however you look at it, whether it's a living thing or not.
I think there's a lot of lessons.
Adapted.
There's
It's adapted to its
a
environment.
lot of lessons in the telescopes. It's like you don't want to.
Bro,
You don't want to.
I'm such a fucking fan of anything outside of Earth. I watch every fucking movie that has to do with space. I watch every movie that has to do, like, anything above the clouds, like outside of the fucking atmosphere. I'm 100% for. I don't care how boring the movie might be.
We don't want to end up. We don't want to end up looking like Mars. Because there's plenty of evidence since we go in there. There's plenty of evidence on Mars of water, rivers, lakes, all of that kind of shit like that. That was so hundreds of millions of years ago. That shit could have been filled. Literally, they believe there's plenty of scientific theory out there that says billions of years ago there was life, water. There was the ingredients for life on Mars. Like it was a planet that had life on it and water.
But that's life.
But wait a minute. That everything that was alive and that came from Mars, whatever happened on that planet to kill the life, all that shit ended up flowing to Earth. Like we may be Martians, is what I'm trying to tell you. Like the seeds of life on this planet may have come from Mars.
Fair. Here's my thing though. We have adapted to the planet we live on.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
What we consider life is water, oxygen. Give me something else.
No, those are the things that you need
to
for life to exist.
To exist,
Right.
right? So that's our level of what we need. What we need on Earth. Follow me, right? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're talking about humans. Because
Yes.
I'm talking about just life. Just a living thing. Like the freaking leaves on a tree is a living thing. Water, that's what I'm talking about. Human beings is so complex.
So you telling me that there's no way that something could exist on another planet with none of the elements that are a part of our planet and be considered a living thing?
Nothing organic. It could be
What do you mean as far as organic? I know what
That's
organic
flesh
means,
that has flesh.
no, you said
and needs.
trees and leaves and shit.
That's
so-
all organic. It's something, a living thing that needs sustenance from other organic things.
However-
but wait a minute, let me answer. There could be things that are considered alive that's outside of our
Conception of anything.
yeah. Because what do we know? We live on one planet.
Right.
We can imagine how big the whole universe is, and we live on one little ass rock. So our perception is very limited. But everywhere we looked, the where we're looking for life is like, could life exist as we know it? We're not looking for nothing else because we don't have the capacity to look for that. So the only thing we're looking for is there the ingredients in these places to be able to create life as we know it. And not a human, just a fucking amoeba, a piece of bacteria. That's what we're looking
Right.
for. You know what I'm saying?
Because that's what is the criteria to exist here. Right? So we're basing it that in order to exist anywhere else, you need this, you need that, and this. Because in order to exist...
But what else would you base it on? Like, we
No,
know
no,
what... we
I'm
know
not
what-
saying, I'm
no,
not saying
I'm not
to
trying
base
to...
it. Yeah.
We're looking for life based on what we know is life. This is what creates life, right? That's the only thing we can look for. We can't look for something that we don't have a conception of.
Because you know that's my favorite shit about zoom in and zoom out. It almost zooms us into only looking for things of that nature to consider it life, right? Because there may be, like, obviously, and I'm sure.
I agree with you,
I'm
but
sure
what
our
else will
brain-
what else will we even understand? If think
So,
about
for
this.
instance,
If
so I'll give you an
listen.
example. I'll give you an example.
If there was some type of life that existed outside what we knew life was, how the hell would we even conceptualize what that is or
I'm gonna give you an
perceive what it
example.
is?
I'm gonna give you an example, right? So, like, I'm not saying it has to be a meteor, right? But let's just take an example for a meteor, right?
Mhm.
Let's just say at the time of our educational capacity, at the top level of our human being species, right? We knew that
Albert
this-
Einstein.
whoever it might be, the most intelligent man.
That's
recorded
probably the guy when you're
on
talking
Earth.
about space, astrophysicists, and all.
Anything.
Anyway,
Most intelligent, right?
Right.
Let's just say he understood the most intricate element that we've ever encountered on our Earth,
Mhm.
right? And this particular element was the only element on Earth that could never be burned. Let's say everything in the world could be burned.
Burned or destroyed?
Or destroy, whatever. Something that could, nothing else in this world could be done like this shit could do, like everything else.
It could do something that nothing else could do. All right.
It
Okay.
can do something that nothing else in this world has been reported to do,
Mhm.
right? And then boom, a meteor hits, or something comes from outer space that hits our Earth, right? And we find it, and we find out that something else from outside of our Earth has the ability to do something that's inside of our Earth, right? That shows that there is things outside of us that, I'm not saying that that it's happened. It probably never happened before. Maybe it did.
Well, you heard about this? What, I can't remember.
Yeah, I heard about the unleashing.
No, bro. This. Hold on. Let me pull up for a minute. Let's look this shit up. But no, keep saying what you're saying, because I'm pulling this shit up.
My point is that I feel that
Uh-huh.
even the mental capacity of how we make movies, right? And we distinguish the difference between the human and the alien, right? And the capabilities of a human in the movie, and the
Which is
capabilities of an alien.
all coming from a level of ignorance. Every description and picture and video and movie of an alien all came from just our
Yeah,
imagination.
just our imagination.
Yeah, right.
But the imagination goes very far, right? It goes far enough that, looking at Avatar, could you imagine if Avatar was on another Earth? Think about it this way: would we? How like after all these years, right, of trying to figure out if there's other living things in this fucking existence, right? That as far as the next level of living aside from us is Avatar, right? The capabilities of, think about the movie Avatar and the capabilities
You know
of
what it's
everybody
really gonna be though, right?
hold on, would you be like, yo, that's dope? Or would you expect this alien or this extraterrestrial to be extra advanced? Could you imagine if we were over advanced than the people that we're looking to search for?
I'm gonna answer that question. I want you to look at this shit right here. Look at that shit right here. So
Oumuamua. Oumuamua is the first known interstellar object detected passing through the solar system. Formerly designated what is that? One I 27. All right, 1I 2017 U1. It was discovered by Robert Work using the Pan-STARRS telescope at Haleakala. Hold on.
So
Observatory, Hawaii. All right, what the fuck?
you know, that's all minutia. But this thing that looks like a fucking Oumuamua, right? That sounds
That's
good, right? Oumuamua. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Anybody watching this, but that shit is look like a straight cigar, and it don't look like nothing we ever seen.
Right.
So this might be the type of shit you talk about. Like, what is that?
I feel like obviously
This came from outside of our whole entire solar system. Never had no contact with the sun, nothing, and just passed through quick and left.
Well, that's impossible to not have contact with the sun.
What do you
Everything
mean?
is gonna have contact with the sun.
No. What are you talking about?
Anything that goes into our whole.
What do you
mean?
Listen, let's back up.
Yeah.
This is an interstellar object, meaning this is outside of our star system.
Okay.
So this object came from God knows where, and luckily passed through our solar system.
So at some point,
when we detected it, when we detected
system, it came in some sort of contact with our sun.
But what I'm saying is, never before until that point.
Oh right.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh right. What I'm saying is, anything in our solar system is gonna come in contact with our sun. That's all I'm saying.
Because everything is caught in the gravity of it.
Yeah.
So all of this time, all of this astronomy, all of these scientists, this is the first object that we've ever detected that came from outside of the influence of our sun. It came from another fucking galaxy that has another sun. A star, rather.
When you say object, only because I've watched a lot, because I told you I love this shit, right? I watched a lot of documentaries and shit about the universe and space and everything.
The only object that we've ever detected that did not come within the influence of the sun. And that goes out way past Pluto, past all of that shit.
Now, when you say object, do you mean object that is an object that's just flying, or object that can possibly be an alien moving?
All right, now we're talking. So, I was watching a podcast. I forget this guy's name. I'll pull it up in a minute. But this scientist was of the belief, like, there's too many weird things going on to me to believe that this is just a random rock. And why is this shit, bro? I wish I had my screen up to show the viewers, but what I'm describing, you guys can look it up as a Oumuamua, Oumuamua.
Yes, Oumuamua. One more time, Oumuamua. Look it up.
And it literally looks. It doesn't look natural.
On one picture, it looks like a cigar, and another picture it looks like headlights.
But it doesn't look like a natural occurring object. It looks almost like somebody made that. I don't even know why we started talking about this, but this thing could possibly have aliens on it, and it came through our solar system, and then it was gone, and nobody never seen nothing or heard nothing about it ever again. So, we're going back to intelligent life
So let me tell you something that's pretty interesting. If you think about it, I hope you follow me on this, right? So obviously, as a species of humans, we're the most intelligent species on Earth, right?
On Earth, we are the most intelligent species by
right?
far.
By far, right? But within other species, there's still intelligence. Do you
Absolutely.
agree? Right? So for instance, like you look at like a beehive, right? So if I'm correct, the queen of the beehive, that's the bees.
There's one queen.
Rally around the beehive, around the queen. Right?
But we're differentiating between intelligent and instinct, though, right? Because a lot of animals.
Hear me out, right? So there's an intelligence within that, whether you look at instinct or not. Like instinct is instinct. Hold on. Instinct to me is instant, right? It's not like continuously repetitive.
I don't know about instant, but it's something that you do without being taught to do it. Like everything you know, not you specifically. I mean everything we know as humans. 9 out of we was taught not everything. Something is instinctual, but not a lot. Like nobody has to teach you how to breathe and relieve yourself. It just that's some kind of thing that just happens. But now look at a lot of people have cats as pets, right? Nobody has to teach a cat how to hunt, how to be like a cat, to balance and just be a predator. That is born with, like, I have a cat.
Yeah, but it's instant though. Like a cat's reflexes or a cat's ability to move is instant.
But that's not the point. That's not the point of the differentiation. The differentiation is the being taught to do it, whether it's instant or not. Did you get taught to do it, or was it already inside of you at birth?
So there's many dynamics to the word instinct. So my particular point was not coming from that part. It was coming from instincts, right? Instinct. You know, when someone, not so much of a reflex, but when
it
someone
is like
does
that.
something,
I think it is that too.
When someone does something and they reacted off their instincts, you know, like boom, that was their reaction. For me, it's the timing part, right? So my comparison to it is, if you look at like the alien shit that
I like that. I like that.
If you look into the perspective of it coming from like with the beehives, right? So going back to the beehives. So the beehive, they rally around the queen, right? And they
protect the queen.
They protect the queen, but they build like this protection fortress around the queen, right?
They had a protection. But anyway, that doesn't matter. Go ahead.
All right. Whatever their job is, right? They build it, right? And it's fascinating in a way to some people. To us, as humans, it's just fascinating, right? Now, what if, this could be a big what if, but because we're going...
I feel like it is.
Because
I feel like it is.
But because we're going super extra, because we're talking about space and things of the unknown, right? What if it was just as simple as that from somewhere else, right? Where something of low caliber of intelligence, right? Like you think about the bees, right? The bees in the chain of species, they're at the bottom, right? Right? They still have impact because they can sting somebody and hurt somebody, right? But they're at the bottom. But what if that what was saw was damn near the bottom of what is actually there? Like that just happens to be something that got off course.
Oumuamua.
Like
right?
The Oumuamua was the comparison of
a beehive
compared to what is really there. So when people look at it like, oh, that might have had an alien in it. It might not have. It might have been it might have just been the lowest of the lowest of what actually is coming, where it's coming from.
Well, if any alien species ever came to see us, like, you got to just think about things scientifically. We don't have the capability, and intelligent beings.
Okay.
We figure things out. We build things. Like if you wanted to build a beehive,
Right.
you would never be able to figure out how to build a beehive unless someone showed you how to build it. The bees are born with the knowledge already ingrained in them to do things.
That's not true.
That's it. It's absolutely true.
I think
That's what instinct literally is. Don't argue me with this.
That's not what I'm arguing with you.
I'm not.
Don't
Argue me with that.
No, I'm not.
Bees are not taught.
You said that
to
you
build a
wouldn't be able
beehive.
to build a beehive unless somebody taught you, and I think that's absolutely not true.
All right, that's semantics.
All right.
It's no. It's
Okay.
it's
All right.
we're intelligent. We're intelligent beings,
Your point is deeper
and we
than
could
that.
probably
If your point is deeper than that.
one or two dudes could probably just do some shit. But 9 out of 10 people are not gonna be able to just build some extravagant shit without having a blueprint and some teaching to do it.
So
you're not gonna be born an
All right,
architect.
so let's go a little
Bees
bit,
are literally
let's go a
born
little bit different.
architects.
Let's go a little bit different then. Let's stick with the architect, but go a little bit different. Am I going too far?
No, we already.
All right, fuck it, because I'm enjoying the conversation. What do you think about, like, the Egyptian pyramids, right? And not even just the Egyptian pyramids, but like some of the architecture that was done many years ago in these outside countries that even to this day, it's probably minds that people, like minds, not minds with an E, minds with a D. It's probably minds that probably wouldn't even know how to come up with the shit that they were able to do back in them days, right? So the ability to
Two
create-
things.
So the ability to create these structures with no guidance. Like,
But that's a hell of an assumption to
What you
say
mean?
that these people built this with no guidance and no blueprints.
So here's the thing.
That's a hell of an assumption.
So here's how I look at where I don't agree with you, right? So I look.
But wait, first of all,
No,
let's
no.
let's establish what we're disagreeing about. What are we disagreeing about?
that I don't know if you're saying in general, but in specific to what you were saying about
Instinct.
You can't, like, nobody would know how to build a beehive unless they were taught to build a beehive, and I said I disagree.
All right, no, I do not want to argue that point.
It's not the beehive part. It's not the beehive.
My point is,
do you look at it?
you
in a general
sound
perspective?
like you don't necessarily even believe in instinct.
I do. I brought it up.
But I'm saying, you're not. I don't hear your
I didn't
opinion
know
on
we
the
were still talking
difference.
about instinct.
The difference between intelligence and instinct. Intelligence is different than just instinct.
So what I was trying to
Intelligence is the
100%.
Wait, the intelligence is the ability or disability to learn things at a certain. The more intelligent you are, the faster you can learn things. Instinct has nothing to do with learning anything. You're ingrained with it at birth, and you learn how to get better at it. Maybe.
Right.
And you can see it. And I have a cat. That cat has been with me since he was like this, and I never taught him how to kill a mouse.
I think what happened was when I used my example, you jumped in and gave a reason why my example does what they do, which had nothing to do with what I was saying, but it does.
So throw that in the trash. Let's get to what you're really talking about then.
So what I was saying was the fact that there's an ability for something that's living on Earth, right? That's considered in the food chain or in the power chain of living species, damn near below the ground at the bottom. Bees have no power in this Earth.
But
right?
that's highly intelligent. Bees are highly intelligent compared to a freaking piece of bacteria or amoeba or something you can't even see with your naked.
All right, so why are you bringing up the?
Because you're saying life. Life goes way lower than a bee.
No, that's not why I brought up the bee reason. The bee perspective was because if you, let's say for instance, right, that somewhere or another, I don't know how, let's just say somebody in space brought up a fucking beehive in space, right?
With no
or
oxygen.
the astronauts.
No oxygen.
Hold on, hear me out, bro.
I'm just throwing in a little ad.
Hear me out. I'm just giving an example. I shouldn't have brought bees, but I
Just
thought that
go.
was a
The
simple
example is fine.
All right.
We're working in the
All right.
realms of
The
where this could
parameters
happen
that I'm
at.
giving.
And your parameters, this could
Yes.
happen.
Yeah, all right.
Go.
So you brought bees on the fucking spaceship.
All right.
Something happens. Maybe you did it on purpose, but something happens. You let the bees go into space, right? These fucking bees.
Your parameters, kid.
Hold on. Listen to me. Fucking bee shit, whether they died or not, right? Let's say they don't physically deteriorate.
They can't. It's impossible. There's no oxygen.
What? They can't what?
Nothing deteriorates in space.
All right. So it's gonna physically stay.
If you died in space right now and your body was floating in space,
It'll float
you would
forever.
look exactly like this for eternity.
Okay.
You would
good.
there would be no skeletons,
Even
no bones,
better.
you would be look like this
Even-
for eternity.
Even better. Now maybe let's say, because I know, let's say with physics and all that shit, it lands on a fucking planet, right? Somewhere. And
It
with
did.
physics,
It did.
might burn.
I don't care.
Let's say
we
I
don't
know
care.
it's gonna burn.
We're
I know
not
it's gonna
worried
burn.
about
But let's
physics.
say it
The
la-
bee
it lands
landed on the planet.
On a planet.
Right.
Right? It lands on a planet.
Made it
and
through the
just-
whole atmosphere.
All that shit. Bird made it in the water, survived.
One
all
bee.
that-
One bee.
No, the whole beehive.
Okay.
The whole beehive with the queen and all that. That whole.
They done
let's say
built
the
a
shit-
stairwell.
Let's say the shit the size of this table. The beehive with all the bees the size of this table. They all died, but they still floating in the fucking space.
And then
they
landed.
landed on a fucking planet, right? And they land on a planet that does have life that is probably years away from us. That shit landed fucking millions of years later than us.
Light
right?
years away.
Light years away. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say millions, but light years away, right? It lands and they already have the perspective like, is there life out there? Right? And this shit comes out here and let's just say
This is the most amazing discovery they ever had in their
ever
existence.
had, bro.
And the same way it would be
And
for
they
us.
think, so what I'm saying is, my point is, that shit that you said, mua, that shit could be just as valuable as bees. Like, it might not
Might
be.
be.
The end, like, it might not be something that's like the fucking biggest discovery of what is actually out where it came from.
I don't think we can even comprehend the possibilities of what's out there. We're literally some little ass rock and think we
Let
pop
me tell
it.
you why we can't comprehend that. Because I don't even think we able to comprehend some of the shit that's actually here.
I can't.
Like there's shit.
You ever
like,
looked into no, go ahead.
So I watch like I always say, I watch a lot of documentaries and shit about Earth and shit about outside the planet and the species from above Earth to the depths of the ocean to even the abyss of the ocean, like the species that's created, like there's species that are living things, right? And because there's no light, literally no
They adapt
light.
and they
Like their
and
species has adapted.
they evolved and
they're
have
evil.
lights.
Now we have invisible species that float on the fucking surfaces of the
No,
ocean.
I'm with you because
right?
I'll be watching these
But-
same documentaries.
but bro-
I evolved the light bulb in my
Bro,
stomach.
They got fucking sharks. They got fucking species down there the size of sharks that the whole body is like transparent.
Yeah, translucent.
Transparent. Translucent. The whole body's translucent. Like the what we can do here, I think personally, is probably more magnificent than we can do anywhere else. In this,
That's pure speculation.
That's pure speculation.
Pure.
Off of what I've.
That's just like
I can only go off of because when you look at and it's not to say that you know how when you land on every other planet that we're able to land on. I'm sorry, not every other planet that we're able.
Mars.
But every other planet that we're able to visibly see, and
Well, we can see them all.
See the physicality of it, see what they got. There's no planet that we're able to go see that is like Earth.
Well, that's because there's no life on none of these planets.
When you say life, as far as
Like it's not gonna like this shit is like things are dead. There's no color. There's no movement.
there's planets with color. What do you mean?
there's no green and there's no blue, because those are the colors of life. It may be some weird.
To us.
But you're talking about what we could see. Us is all the planets in our solar system. That is us. That's what we know, our solar system. There's no life on this planet. And if you see red, that shit is volcanic lava. So
right.
The colors of life are water
so let's think about this
and
then.
plants.
So let's think about this then. We know we have volcanoes. We know we have mountains that.
And this is why we know what that shit is that we're looking at.
Hold on. Let's say we didn't have that. Right? Will we consider that there's life because there's another planet that has physical lava or physical fucking fire flowing through their fucking planet? Like, the point of what I'm saying is, it's only relative to us because we have it here, right?
But that's the only thing that matters in life is relativity. That's what matters.
No.
You can't
that's
compare.
Zooming in.
No, but
that's
no. You can't compare things to something that's you don't know what it is. That's how life works. You can't be like, I'm not gonna pay attention to what I know. I'm just gonna wait for something that I have no clue what it is. How you gonna describe it?
No,
you can't describe. Wait a minute. You can't describe or talk about something when you have no background to talk about it. So what we know is what we're able to observe, and science is about getting smarter. It's about correcting yourself.
You're on the right path, but I think you're explaining it the wrong way.
I don't think I am, because you can't have an explanation and a thought process on something that you have no background to talk about. So you have to. So at a certain level, you have to zoom in on what you know. You can't take the zoom off and look at what you have no idea and what you imagine may happen.
I agree. You start with what you know. You have to start with that. You have to start with what you know. There's no way you come up with. To make it better for the masses, you start with what you don't know and you say, but what we do know is da 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 to end it better. But you always, yes, I agree. You start with what you know. But I thought with what you were saying.
Even if something occurs that you don't know about, you still have to base that on what you do, because that's the only thing you have something to base on. You can't research something. You only can research something based on the science and the math that you know.
What I feel like I'm getting, I feel like I'm like you're right and then you're wrong every time you start saying your point, because What I'm getting from you is that you have to base it on what you know, but
scientific research.
But at the same time, I'm saying that you have to be open-minded to, just because it's not relative, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have impact or it doesn't have.
I'm not saying it doesn't have impact. If a alien ship, an alien animal, an alien anything just lands on the earth right now. Yeah. The only way you could describe it or talk about it is based on what you already know from where.
That we keep experiencing these different elements of things that are from outside of this world, right? And
wait, clarify that. We keep experiencing what?
So
that was a once in a historic thing.
So of course, I don't want to say there's conspiracy.
Because that's why I brought this up, because we have 8 planets and Pluto. I mean, they classify whatever. We have our planets, and we have some comets and some meteors, and our sun is so big that it keeps everything. And wait, let me finish. Our sun keeps everything within its gravity. Everything spins around that sun. Nothing comes in that we've ever known about in the history of our humanity, ever, until this thing. So there's nothing else to compare it to. Like, everything that's in our system, we're like, oh, it went out there, and then it orbited around for fucking 300 years, then it came back. Halley's Comet comes every 7 years. It's all the same shit just going around and around.
It's the same fucking solar system.
So why the fuck did some shit come from and into our solar system? That's literally never happened. That's why it's such a interesting thing.
Right. And Thank God you said that, because now it reminds me of why I said my point, right? So the reason why I was saying what I said was the fact that something flew right into our solar system, right?
And it had to be. You know how fast it had to be going to do that?
Could you imagine, right? Think about Earth, right? We got birds, eagles, shit that fly, right? And then you got humans that control the Earth pretty much, right? But there's things that no matter how much we control the Earth that we physically can't do on our own. We can do with other apparatuses, you know, like.
This is our power.
Right. Hear what I'm saying, right? So a bird can fucking literally fly off the concrete and go in the air.
Yeah, it can fight gravity.
Yeah, we can't do that.
We can fight gravity.
We can jump in the air. We gonna come.
Michael Jordan, Vince Carter. That's the best fight. That's the best fight against gravity we could do.
All right, I got other people that I would.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Whoever can jump mad high, that's the best.
Yeah, but that shit lasts for 0.0 seconds or something.
Exactly.
Seconds.
It's not a good fight.
But they can go up in the air, right? So, could you imagine if outside of our planet, let's just think that outside of our planet that there is a solar system that's outside of our solar system.
And there are. That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's not
there are.
So many.
But has the ability to have what we have, but on a 2 trillion times level. So let's say
this is the
birds.
issue. This is
Like,
the problem.
hold
This is
on.
the problem. We're not
Birds-
intelligent enough to even detect if these things are happening or not.
But going back to the whole, I'm bringing it full circle right now. Going back to the whole point of you saying that going back to the whole point of you saying that we oh my God, I lost it. But going back to my point, all right, about being a bee or a bird compared to what's outside of the solar system and getting into ours, right? So we're not able to fly, right? So birds can go into the clouds. They can be near the clouds and do all that type of shit, right? But let's just say there was a planet that had things that can fly, also things that couldn't fly, like the way we had, but things that can fly on a different level, that they could fly out this shit, but fly in their own solar system. But something happens in their solar system that they get whisked right into ours, slide right through our shit. Now this is all speculation, of course. This is all my imagination, right? But my point of saying that is, I know you can go extra with me.
We're not going extra.
You can go
This
extra.
is how we're ending this podcast. I want you to finish.
So what I'm saying is, the fact that we saw that particular more, and everybody's making a big uproar of it, that it could be aliens, like it could be actually something as simple as what we consider bees to that solar system, right? It's not aliens that actually have some sort of fucking mental capacity of even knowing where the fuck they are.
Do aliens exist or not? In your opinion, because neither one of us know the answer to that.
Do aliens exist?
Do aliens? No, sorry. Do you think intelligent life that is equal or greater to ours exists in the universe?
Or even lesser than ours?
Okay.
Even lesser than ours.
Okay.
Yes, I do believe that.
Me too.
Yeah, okay.
Episode 2.
Love y'all niggas.
Credit
Don't
and
think
aliens.
we crazy. I love
Credit.
y'all. Fly Dance Group. With all my craziness. This how you can tell that I'm so detailed in what I do. I love this fucking space shit. I love credit repair.
Love you guys.
All right,
Get out of
fuck
here.
y'all. I love y'all. No, not.